Welcome to The Price of Business. I am your host, Kevin Price, talking to you about you and your business on Bloomberg's home in Houston, Texas. Glad to have my good friend Walter Rogers here on the program. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing great, Kevin. Thanks for having me back on yet another Wednesday.
Another Wednesday, and we're continuing a series that we began working on a few weeks ago on your great book called Spark. And Walter Rogers is with a company called Baker Communications. They're the premier customer relation and sales training company in the country, in my opinion. You're the leader out there, and you share your insights on our show. And now you share it in your new book, Spark. Before we get started in what we're doing in our Spirit series, which is the last couple of principles in there, why don't you go ahead and tell us real quickly what the book is all about?
Well, you know, Kevin, the book is really the encapsulation of years and years of research around how companies ought to really leverage their customer relationship management systems as a corporate nervous system and not a sales accounting platform. And you and I worked on this for quite some time. We did our first show in series on this, I guess, almost 2 years ago now. And after additional writing, we published a book, and it's out. We launched it at Dreamforce just about a month or so ago, and so far the reception has just been phenomenal because we really tackled this whole notion of CRM adoption from a different perspective. We tackled it from a behavioral perspective instead of a technology perspective, because what we keep finding over and over again is that adoption of CRM has very little to do with technology and everything to do with behavior.
Yeah, no question about it. And it was quite the buzz over there at Dreamforce there in San Francisco. And I can see why. The book really makes sense. It really resonates because it isn't about technology, which is what virtually all books about CRM, customer relationship management, are about technology. It's instead about creating the culture for it to synergize, to create synergy in companies.
That's exactly right, and that's a perfect setup for us to talk about best practice number 10 in Spark, which is the importance of including non-sales-facing functions when a company is really thinking about how to deploy and architect a customer relationship management system, a CRM. And so many times there's, massive focus on, the sales organization because that, oftentimes is the primary consumer of this type of an application. And rightly so. They should have major influence in how the system is deployed. But the thing is, if you really want to change behavior, if you really want to drive adoption, there are other functions inside of a company that should be linked in. And I'll talk about one very specifically, which is finance. Mm-hmm. So most companies have some kind of a financial system. And what happens is you have a massive amount of customer information that's stored in this financial system, and it just continues to build over time. You can literally start to look at purchasing patterns and trends so that from a marketing perspective and a sales perspective, you can make much better decisions about which customers to go and target when. Now, if that data isn't consolidated into the CRM data, then how can a salesperson ever change his or her behavior as it relates to talking to the right customer at the right time? Because they won't have access to it. Mm-hmm. And yet that financial information is so critically important. It helps salespeople and marketing people really make much smarter decisions around where to invest their time and how to leverage their own personal behavior towards identifying and capturing new opportunities, both within existing accounts and new accounts. And so the integration between the financial system and the customer relationship management system is one of the single most important levers that any company can pull when deploying these tools to really begin to build this corporate network of data and information that everybody can react to instantly, quickly, programmatically, instinctively, to create more opportunity for themselves and for their customers.
Okay, very good, very strong. And, and again, what it goes back to is this whole idea of trying to remove the disconnect between technology and people.
It really is. And I'll give you another example of how the integration between finance and CRM can make a difference. So salespeople, we know, are very motivated by what? Their commissions, right? Or their compensation. And they should be, again. I mean, this is what they're hired to deliver and develop new business, and they should be paid for that. Now, if their compensation isn't directly tied to the information or the opportunities that they're winning and literally managing through the customer relationship management system, then what motivator do they really have? How much visibility should they really give? But if, on the other hand, if their commission is directly calculated off of what's happening inside of their CRM, you can bet that the data is going to start to become extremely accurate. The other thing that this can do for a salesperson, again, to change their behavior, is if they can get visibility into their forward pipeline of potential income by understanding and determining what they've sold in the future and when they're likely to get paid on it. Mm-hmm. Again, it drives behavior. It's all about behavior.
Right. And so what you're advocating here and what's a different look at CRM can do is to let CRM play a bigger role in commissions than what it historically has.
Absolutely. And in fact, another non-sales facing function is access to internal subject matter experts that can be used inside of a sales cycle, inside of a project, and for a presentation or what have you. And if these individuals are all plugged in and connected and communicating inside of the CRM, then finding them, accessing them, connecting them becomes a much, much easier proposition than the old-fashioned way, which is using email and blasting lots of people, hoping that somebody responds with the information that you're looking for.
Walter, we got about a minute left. What do you want to wrap up with?
Let's wrap right into the final best practice, number 11, which is the importance of automating reports and alerts. And one of the great things about having a properly deployed customer relationship management system is that you can begin to strip work away from the sales professional that used to historically take a lot of time. Again, leveraging how to change their behavior. And, one way to get salespeople excited is to make their life easier for them. So there's a lot of reports that they have to produce depending on the company. They could be weekly forecast reports, weekly commit reports. They might be pipeline reports, any number of things. Yeah. Well, how exciting would it be if they had to not do that anymore?
That would be
if
very
all
exciting.
Of those were automated and provided to them and their manager programmatically so they can really focus on how to attack opportunities instead of how to report on opportunities. Again, using behavior as the impact for change or as the lever for change.
All right, people can get a copy of this book, and I strongly suggest they do, by going to bakercommunications.com. That's bakercommunications.com. I understand there's a link right there where people can go get the book.
Yep, absolutely. bakercommunications.com/Spark. Come download it. It's available to you.
Yeah, get it for free. Thanks so much, Walter Rogers.
You bet. Thank you, Kevin.
You bet. And we'll look forward to you next week right here on The Price of Business.
Yep.